There is no such thing as an automated accessibility audit. If it's automated, it's not an audit, it's a scan. If it's an audit, implicit in the word audit is manual. So an actual accessibility audit will be fully manual. Any automated scan component as a methodology of the audit is going to be a secondary check just to ensure that any issues that can be flagged correctly by a scan are included in the audit. So I wrote about this a few days ago. I have the blog post on the screen with me. It's titled Manual is the Only Kind of Accessibility Audit. So let's talk through what's going on here. So there are both digital accessibility companies, widget sellers, which I don't even count as actual companies, and then there are hybrid SaaS type of offerings. So SaaS standing for software as a service. And there is this idea that you are getting and you are somehow automating audits, or that you can receive an automated audit, or it's sometimes referred to as automated testing. That's just not the case, but it's very lucrative. So, of course, selling software is where the margins are at. It's where it's most profitable. You want to be a tech company. That's how you get your valuation higher. You want to be a SaaS company because then you have recurring revenue and you're not having to do additional work for that revenue. It's just based on selling the software. So, very profitable. This notion is pushed in the marketplace. There's at least one article titled How to Run an Accessibility Audit. There's no running of an audit. It's just if you're using automation, it's a scan. Scans are very helpful, but they are very limited. They can only flag a limited subset of accessibility issues. If we're looking at WCAG 2.1 AA as the standard, think of an audit as being able to scan approximately 25% of those issues. I say approximately because it's not exact. We know that some success criteria are multi-layered, so there can be partials in there. There could be instances where issues are partially flagged, but it's about 25%. So, and this comes up, the reason why this was top of mind for me is because a prospective client asked me if our audits were manual or automated. No, it's fully manual. If I don't, we use ActScan as a part of our audit process. So it's included as one of the methodologies, but it's not like we use the ActScan and our audit is based around the ActScan. No, that's not how it works. So, and by the way, our clients, anybody can use a scan right now. So there are scans. Scans are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. They're free. You don't need to pay for one. The premium ones are the results are going to be the same with the premium ones as they are the paid. It's just going to depend on what scan you're using. Obviously, there's Google Lighthouse, there's not Google Wave, there's Wave by WebAIM, and then there's Axe, and then there are others. Power Mapper is a favorite of plaintiffs' law firms, but the point is that you don't have to pay for a scan, and you don't have to come to us to scan your website. So this next section in the blog post gets at what I was talking about. 100% manual. All real audits are manual, and that's again what I was getting at. The word manual is implicit in audit. So, and by the way, when you hear automated testing thrown around, as I said earlier, this is getting at the same thing. It's a scan. What happens is some of these companies try to make this sound like more than it is, so they start to decorate things in more colorful wording, some artistry in there. And then this next section, scans are everywhere. Yeah, they're everywhere. Like you'll notice, like just about every accessibility company has a scan. I don't, because it's like I just tell people to use Wave. Wave is so beginner friendly. It's very helpful, and it flags most of the accessibility issues. So I like Wave. We use Axe as the scan that we use as a secondary check in our audits. Both are fine to use. They're 100% free for single page scans. Sometimes the question comes up, well, should I pay for a scan? What about premium scans? Unless you know exactly what your buying a scan for, you should not buy a scan. Now, I would even question, do you really know what your scan is for? Because a lot of times people buy scans and they do so mistakenly, thinking that they amount to more than they do. So they're focused in on the reporting aspect or the percentages or the scores, and they just don't understand, like, yeah, it's like, okay, you do get a score, you do get the reports, you can get PDFs, you can get pie charts and graphics, but what is this all for? And the reason I say that is because scans are so skewed, because again, going back to scans, they're extremely limited. So they are not actually indicative of where you stand with accessibility. You can get a feel for it through a scan, but just paying for scans is usually a really bad proposition. The only way that it's going to return value is if you know what you're using it for. So I never recommend scans unless someone just is like, there's this one aspect or there's this one part of this that we know we need for some reason. But most people don't need them. And again, they're free. And if you wanted to have a paid scan because you think, well, I can scan my entire website, then I would ask you, well, what's the point of scanning your entire website if you can only work on one or two pages at a time? And then furthermore, if you are looking for an audit and at the same time you're buying a scan, then what are you buying the scan for? Because the audit is going to supersede the scan anyway. So this next section in the blog post is I have the heading scan softening. And so what happens is no seller with any shred of credibility, and I won't give everyone too much credit, but any shred of credibility is going to tell you that an audit can be automated. But what you'll have to look out for is the softening. So they won't give you the exact reality of automation. What they'll do is they'll soften it. So they'll say some manual work is necessary, right? They'll admit to that. And they might even, along with that, they might inflate how much scans can flag. So how many issues scans can flag. And there are ways that you can twist the numbers to make it seem like there are more issues that are flagged. So you might hear even like 50% of issues can be flagged by a scan. I think 50 is the highest I've heard. But then they'll tell you we combine a scan with screen reader testing. That is absolutely, that would not result in an audit. You can't combine screen reader testing and audit results. And you would never, ever copy and paste the scan results to go along for anything, right? Because you still need to look and see if those scan results are accurate, which gets at the point I was making earlier, is that you don't need me to scan a page of your website or 10 pages of your website. You can do that right now for free. So you can't combine. There's no combining of a scan and screen reader testing. Screen reader testing is an essential part of an audit. That is one of the most important methodologies that is used during the audit process, but it is by no means the end of an audit. And that's important to keep in mind. So screen reader testing is a part of the audit process, but it is not the complete process. It is not everything. So that is just one aspect. It is an important aspect. It is essential. But my point here is that you cannot combine a scan with, let's say, screen reader testing and have an audit. And then so that really wraps up the article that's on the screen with me. I will link to this in the description. If you need help with an accessibility audit, accessible.org offers audits. You can just message me on accessible.org and tell me what you're looking for. And if you have a standard in mind, let us know. WCAG 2.1 AA is the most popular. Some clients elect for 2.2, and then even some go for 2.0. So if you do need help with an audit, we offer these services. I will also include a contact link in the description for this video.